What's up, space pirates? This is your captain, the certifiably suave Dr. Disaster, and it looks like we may have another horrible Star Wars experience on our hands.
Oh no, not again.
You guys remember Star Wars Outlaws, don't you? The one where the developers took a character model that looked like this,
Ooh, I like her,
and they made her look like this in the game instead.
One ugly mother...
Well, Star Wars Outlaws was available to play at Summer Game Fest last week, so we are getting some reviews coming in now, and things don't sound too promising for this piece of shit. This is unsurprising considering that the publisher of the game, Ubisoft, is in bed with Sweet Baby Inc. But how bad is this shit?
Soon you will see things more horrible than you could even imagine.
The power of one, the power of two.
Well, maybe not that horrible, but still pretty bad.
Alright, me hearties, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and also make sure to give me a follow over on Twitter, where I keep a list of woke and DEI infested games pinned to my account at all times for your reference. My handle on that platform is Dr. Disaster 1. And yes, of course, Star Wars Outlaws is on that list. But let's see what the review is for Star Wars Outlaws. This article comes to us from GameSpot, which is really surprising considering that is an outlet that I would assume would be busy kissing the asses of Ubisoft and Disney. But the article's headline really kinda says it all. Star Wars Outlaws feels mediocre with a protagonist who's way too strong.
I'm shocked! This is shocking news! Shocking! I'm shocked!
Wait, you mean to tell me that a female character in a Star Wars story is ridiculously overpowerful and that the product feels mediocre? Who could have ever seen that coming? Oh wait, all of us did. Look at the ratio on the trailer for this piece of shit. 184,000 downvotes to only 40,000 up. Everybody knows that anything Ubisoft touches turns to shit, and the same goes for anything Star Wars now that Disney owns it. You put these two companies together and you get some sort of super mutated shit. It's shittiness squared, or cubed or something.
I done the math. Checks out.
But anyhow, let's read what the article has to say. I'm more shocked than anyone that Star Wars Outlaws didn't resonate with me. I love Star Wars and have been hoping to get a new game in which we don't play as yet another Force-sensitive person. But after playing through 3 different sections of Outlaws at Summer Game Fest, each of which was about 15 to 20 minutes long, I walked away disappointed. Nothing about Outlaws feels bad. Hell, bad would have been better than what I played, because then at least it could have been memorable in some way. Instead, Outlaws feels fairly mediocre and unmemorable. What I played feels like an amalgamation of different features and mechanics borrowed from other games that do those things better, all while masquerading as a Star Wars game without actually embodying the themes and storylines of Star Wars.
Owie!
At Summer Game Fest, I played in 3 contained linear levels. The first saw Kay working her way through an Imperial facility before leaping into her ship and engaging in a dogfight against some TIE fighters. The second part focused on the game's platforming mechanics, with Kay navigating a derelict ship. The third and final portion of the preview presented a level in which Kay was tasked with stealthily infiltrating an organization's base to steal back some stolen tech. I have individual complaints with each of the sections, but my main gripe with Star Wars Outlaws, based on this slice of the game, is that Kay feels way too powerful. It's possible Ubisoft put me on the easiest difficulty for the preview to make sure I'd get through each one in a timely manner, but if that's not the case, then Outlaws is laughably easy. The writer then goes into detail about how easy all of this is, but this is really funny to me. I see irony in a games journalist complaining about how easy a game is, since, of course, the journalists are the ones constantly asking for easier modes on games.
I immediately regret this decision.
These are the people who whine incessantly about titles like Elden Ring being too hard. Naturally, that's because most of these journalist types aren't actual gamers. They are activist posers trying to push their garbage onto us. But this is the world that they asked for, where the female characters look like the creature from the Black Lagoon, and the games are easy enough that a toddler or maybe even a games journalist could beat them, and that is a world that sucks. But to be fair, maybe this particular journalist is an actual gamer, and that is why he doesn't like the title. I have to give it to him, he at least had the balls to stand up to the Disney and Ubisoft corporate machine and say he doesn't like what he sees.
He doesn't like you.
But I wanted to read this next paragraph really closely because, as a longtime Star Wars fan and a gamer, this is really interesting. This paragraph says, Kay's apparent invulnerability and godlike powers persisted throughout the demo, whether it was surviving 3-story drops in the platforming sections or getting into a firefight and tanking multiple hits. Aside from simply feeling dull to play, this actively gets in the way of Kay's characterization as a scrappy scoundrel and smuggler. If anything, playing as Kay should feel more like how Han Solo accomplished problems in the original Star Wars trilogy. You take your shot when you can, but you're far better off running away when the blaster bolts start flying.
I've been saying that shit for years.
Seriously, as Star Wars fans, this is literally what we have been complaining about with Rey for years now. Let's reread that paragraph in the context of the Star Wars trilogy with Rey. Rey's apparent invulnerability and godlike powers persisted through the sequel trilogy, whether it was blowing up 3 TIE fighters with one blast or beating Kylo Ren in a lightsaber duel immediately after turning on a lightsaber for the first time. Aside from simply feeling dull to watch, this actively gets in the way of Rey's characterization as a Force-sensitive Jedi hopeful. If anything, Rey should do things more like Luke Skywalker.
It's like looking in a mirror, only not.
It's amazing to me how we have been saying this over and over about Disney Star Wars, and when we do it, we are called sexists, but when a game journalist says it, we don't hear a peep. Anyhow, at the conclusion of the article it says, the aspect of my time with Star Wars Outlaws that stands out to me the most is just how much my preview experience reminded me of previewing 2022's Saints Row, a game that paints over half-baked systems and average storytelling with the trappings of a franchise I love. Outlaws so far feels exactly the same, using the imagery and sounds of Star Wars to disguise an otherwise mediocre game.
You don't say!
And that is literally what we have been saying about Star Wars ever since Disney took over. They constantly give us mediocre shit with the Star Wars label slapped on it, disguising garbage as something we used to love. But anytime the fanbase says this shit, we get hate from Disney's corporate journalist suck-ups. Keep this article in mind, people. The next time some wokester out there calls you an ist or a phobe, quote this article and shove their noses in it. But I'm gonna leave it there. This game sounds like dog shit, and there's no way that Ubisoft is getting my money. But what about you? What did you think of the review? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below, and we will talk there.
Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your captain is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.